Welcome to another episode on our Infamouz Lifestyle channel. I'm back in the Infamouz garage, and for you guys that haven't been keeping up or don't know this, you know, this is your first time tuning in. And honestly, Full Res has been killing it. If you guys haven't checked out the last few videos, he's been doing really good with his pretty much build bike. You know, if you guys are just like I mentioned, barely tuning in, we're doing a build series with 3 different bikes. One it being the ZX10 KRT version, the BMW S1K, which is Hawaiian Punch, Full Res been working on, and the Gixxer. So he's really been, you know, kind of getting it done, getting it looking, honestly, what you guys been watching is what I know of the bike. So believe it or not, I don't know exactly what he has planned, what he has coming, what he has done until he really posts the video and I watch at the same time you guys watch. So we're kind of trying to keep it you know, away from each other. They don't know what I got going on with the Gixxer. I honestly don't know what's going on with the 10. So I'm really excited. But enough of that. If you guys haven't obviously seen, I got the M1K still in the lift. If you guys haven't seen the last episode on the bike, I just went ahead and finished with the flash. So it's now brand tuned pretty much, you know. So shout out to BT Moto. If you guys need a flash or anything like that, go ahead and check out those guys. They really know what they're doing. And honestly, like I've mentioned before, all of the BMWs you see here have been brand flashed, you know, through BT Moto. So you know, you can't go wrong. So huge shout out to them. And like I said, if you guys are looking for a flash, go ahead and check them out. But on today's, if you saw that episode, if you saw that video, I gave you a little teaser pretty much saying that we're gonna start installing a few more parts that I've had for the 2023 M1000RR. And one was this. I left you guys with this little kind of sneak peek, which is a full carbon, I don't know if the camera can see, let me get my face out the way. There you go. A full carbon kickstand from Full 6. And another part that I think is going to look nice is the Samco hoses. It says Alpha Racing, and like I mentioned, huge shout out to Manny from Motor Million. He pretty much got us these hoses. I don't know if you can see. I think there's 4 pieces. Let me see if I can get them all on the screen for you guys. This little one, I believe this goes to the reservoir. So you got these 4 pieces, and anytime you guys are going to run the Samco hoses, it's always recommended. I mean, Manny would tell anybody, and I believe if you buy them, it's always recommended to buy the actual clamps, the hose clamps for it that come with the Samco. Just so you know, you have a tight fit and everything else. We also got the, let me open this up for you guys, lightweight rear brake rotor. So we got that with some titanium, let's see, yeah, titanium bolts for the rotor, so it could look all nice and shiny and clean, and the blue actually matches pretty good with the bike. I think the bike has different style blues anyway, so I think it'll look really nice. So we're gonna do those 3 things. And one more thing, I don't know if you saw, like I mentioned with the flash, I mentioned that we were going to take out the servo motors, I believe, which is those 2 cables that go to the exhaust. Now that it's flashed, I can go ahead and remove those. All right, so I kind of mentioned what we're gonna be doing today, so let's get to it. So once you remove this bolt, and this bolt, you have to kind of pull this right fairing kind of away from the bike, because it has a little tab that goes in here. And same thing at the bottom. Now you have to pull the bottom fairing outside because it has another little kind of tab that goes in this little square. So same thing on the other side. You have this bolt, and this bolt down here. There we go. I believe I got 2 more on the inside that I gotta remove. Okay, now I think I'll work. There you go. So So that's pretty much it. And the ones that I was talking about are these two right here. So they go onto this piece right here. So it has a whole kind of tab that goes into the frame as well, which I think they've been doing that since BMW came out on these side fairings. So, or inner side fairings, whatever you want to call them. But let me get this out because it looks like it's all one piece all the way to here. And if you guys never seen, this is pretty much all it is for that 2023 M1000 windscreen. Alright, so obviously I took out the windscreen. I tried to take out the bolts underneath, and I feel like it's still as tight as it can be on this side and this. I'm really not trying to get all involved and really tear down just to get to it. I noticed, obviously, since I have the bike facing this way, I have the front wheel loose, so I can kind of get the handlebar out of my way, and I could pull this far enough that I could go ahead and that side fairing, I pull it far enough that I can get to both the radiator cap and then the reservoir with just a funnel. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna leave it disassembled just in case that doesn't work, but I'm gonna get it back up and get to the hoses because I could still get it from this side. So let's get to it. Okay, so like I mentioned, we have access to these hoses around the reservoir and the radiator. This top line, the L shape, goes from the radiator to the reservoir, which we're going to be removing and installing the Samco hoses on that one, and as well as the one that goes on the radiator to the behind the head, I believe. So we're going to be getting started on this side. This side, unfortunately, is not the glamour side because you can't see these. But I mean, you're still getting the benefit of running these silicone hoses, which is, you know, you get a reduction of heat, and they can withstand heat a lot better. So I can't recall, it's like up to 89 degrees or whatever, that you could kind of run, you know, kind of cooler than a normal OEM hose. So now that I got that out the way, of course. Too bad. That's that BMW coolant, that blue. Alright, so now that we got both hoses on this side out, which is this longer one that goes kind of through the frame to the radiator and to the pretty much top of the motor, and this little smaller one actually accidentally dropped into the coolant, goes from the reservoir to your radiator. So now that we got the side fairing removed, we're gonna go ahead and take out the clamps, and I'm gonna start with the bottom one since it has most of the coolant. One thing is, I forget, the back clamp is one-time use only, so I have to cut it, shears, and so like I mentioned, is this hose right here for this one, and then that longer piece is for this one right here. But see, these are, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one off as a one-time use clamp. So, alright, oh godly. Alright, so now that we took out the bottom hose, we removed the clamp from here and cut this clamp back here, the one I showed you guys. Don't forget, there's a little bolt right here that has like a bracket built into this metal piece. So just take out that bolt. It's hooked onto another bracket right here that I believe is for the lower belly pan fairing piece that you could, honestly, I took out the clip already, but it is one built into one piece bracket right here, so you have to leave it down in place. I just took out the little, I guess, threaded part that goes into it. So now I just gotta tighten up the clamps for the new Samco hoses on both ends, and last but not least, this is the final piece for the Samco hoses. So I'm glad to be at this point. Fine. So that's that piece. So a huge shout out to Manny from Moto Million. We got these Alpha Racing Samco hoses from him, and if you guys are in the market of any hoses from Samco. There's different colors. I think there's blue, there's the white ones. I think the old M has the red ones, and obviously I feel like they have the black ones. I always do them for most of the part. I mean, I think we've done it on the BMWs these last few years or something, like in the last 2 years. And honestly, it keeps the bike cool, and they add that little extra touch of flavor, you know, a little bit of style into your bike too. So, and voila! I think the camera is picking up pretty good. You can really see the white. You know, once I put the fairing back on, we'll be able to see how much of the white we'll be able to see. But this side, like I mentioned, it's a good side. You're gonna be able to see at least something. The other side, we won't be able to see anything. Those two little hoses are, obviously they're smaller hoses, but they're really more tucked in into the frame and into the kind of like into the fairing. So you, for sure, even if you're looking for them, I don't think you'll be able to find them. Now, since we are kind of done with that, and before I start kind of buttoning everything up, let's go ahead and do this carbon kickstand. You know, Manny came through with this extra add-on piece for this bike, and I feel that not that many people run a carbon kickstand. And this kickstand right here, I mean, it's just, you know, it's a little bit you know, extra that this bike needs. We obviously did the carbon tank. The whole bike is carbon already with the carbon swing arm. And we also, what else did we add? Honestly, I think that's it. Everything else that you see, all the carbon pieces, obviously the front fairing, the side panels, the tail, the front fender, the bottom arrow pieces by the wheel, carbon wheels. So I mean, we just kind of tacking on the carbon. Oh, side fairing piece is back on, and now for our final piece on this bike, the lightweight rear. Let me take out the bag. Rotor. What is it? Pro T. The titanium bolts, blue bolts for this. Still gotta remove the axle, obviously. Things holding it off. Just makes it easy, real easy to slide in and out. Just be careful, the caliper's at the bottom. So you kind of have to swing it up, the wheel out the way so it doesn't hit. That's the only troublesome part. Anyway, let me show you what I mean. This is like the inside of the swing arm. You can see right here, this is where pretty much it rests on this little lip right here. Same thing as, focus, over here. It rests on this lip, the spacers. And that's what kind of makes, that pretty much holds it in place. And when you take it out, you take it out, and then you put it in. And these are very, very, very helpful. But the only thing is, like I mentioned, you have to kind of move the wheel out of the way and this way, just so it doesn't get on the caliper. But easy peasy. Now we got it out. Now loosen them up. I was right. So pretty much the part where the words are on, that's the way it gotta go. And I think these are like, I guess, going towards the rotation. I'm still gonna leave my setting on 1. We got the wheel back on, the rotor's on, Samco hoses are on, kickstand's on, side fairing's on. Yeah, it's done. So yeah, you're definitely going to start seeing this bike more often. It's finally going to be out of, you know, on the lift. And for the guys that have been waiting, you know, Build Series still going on. I'm way behind the 8-ball. I wanted to kind of get this out the lift, and I could finally, you know, all my Gixxer boys out there, my Suzuki Nation people out there, that's going to be next. So BMW off the lift, Gixxer on the lift. But thanks again, guys. You don't want to miss that. If you're a fan of Suzuki, stay tuned, and until next time. Peace.